Hey, good morning, you guys. This week we are going to be reading Russell, chapter 2, but I want you to read from page 25 through to page 38, 38 and stop there. So you're going to be primarily reading about diversity and inclusion of cultures, and then I want you to stop at social diversity and inclusion. That way we can deep dive and focus on cultural diversity and inclusion in literature for children. Additionally, you're going to be looking at some important contemporary resources in our world today, the Cooperative Children's Book Center and the Diverse Books Project. There are a handful of really thoughtful, inspiring TED Talks that we're going to dive into, and you're going to start reading The House on Mango Street. All of this is to feed into the next learning outcome for the course, which is explain the importance of diverse representation in literature for children, focusing especially on historically underrepresented people groups in the book publishing industry. And this is an outcome I'm personally I feel like especially passionate about. Over the summer, I took a course, diversity in children's books, basically was the premise. And I had the opportunity to read some of the most beautiful, exciting books that really expanded my perspective. And now I just spend more time because of that seeking out books that represent cultures different from my own to just really consume the beauty of those cultures and traditions and perspectives and worlds, honestly. So I hope that you guys will pick up on some of that excitement as well and find this to be a really exciting part of our course. I've been waiting to get to this because I think it's just going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be exciting. And it's going to be a little bit two-pronged. So on the one hand, I'll give you an example. When I was in my bachelor's program, I can't remember which course I was in, but we had this project. It would be a great project for this class. We just don't have time to do all of the amazing things that we should do. But I had to go back to a childhood film, some kind of movie that I liked as a kid, and rewatch it and examine it for issues of, like we did with the critical lens stuff with Charlotte's Web, like feminist criticism, or look at if racial stereotypes are being perpetuated. And so I looked at Peter Pan, and I think I'm going to provide, I'm still piecing together your guys' materials here, but I think I'm going to provide some links to that stuff. And there is some really weird stuff in that movie that I don't remember being there. So the way that Hook treats and talks about Tinkerbell, the videos I've watched say it hasn't dated well. It's not, it wouldn't fly today. And then also how indigenous people or native peoples are represented in that film. I'm not going to give any words to that because, again, there's a video where those individuals get to respond themselves and express how they feel about the way they're being represented. So there's this critical aspect to this part of our course and our learning where we might look at a book or a film for children and say, this isn't appropriate. This doesn't achieve the goals, the good goals that we want to achieve via literature for children. But then there's this celebratory aspect. So I want you to be doing both. I want you to use criticism to call out that there's maybe something not helpful going on, or honestly just downright harmful in the portrayals of people in certain books, or just the non-portrayal, the lack of representation of various people groups. That is a problem, and I want us to talk about that and to discuss and truly understand why it's a problem and to be able to give words to that. A lot of times the reason why it's a problem is not just because of the harm, but because of the missed opportunity to provide something really good to child readers. And so again, then there's this celebratory aspect of just finding these really beautiful representative texts to be sharing with all kinds of students. And you'll learn a little bit about this, but some terms that are being used in the literary world for this more celebratory aspect are mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. And the idea is that we need to see ourselves in literature as a mirror, and we need to see the world outside of ourselves in literature that's a window. And then lots of good books will provide a sliding glass door where we get to open the glass and walk in and experience it. So keep those things in mind. I think this is going to be a really fun, enriching, and valuable stage in the course, and it's going to last for about 2 weeks. Next week, I think we're going to tackle some difficult topics in literature beyond cultural diversity. So we'll be reading, though, The House on Mango Street for 2 weeks, and email me if you guys have any questions.